Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we'll work on our car paint shader, but this time it's going to be for cycles. Uh, Almost a week back, I released a video where I did a car paint shader for Octane Blender. So this time we're going to be replicating most of the steps we follow there, but it's going to be for cycles. Here you can see the final build shader. So we will have a color control that's going to control the color. And yeah, so there's a lot of things like, if you zoom in, you can look at flakes and then there's some bumpy uh, details on the clear coat painting that they give on top of the paint. So we're going to be doing all of that. So yeah, let's take a look at how to develop this versatile car paint shader. So first I'll switch to a new shader. So this is a empty principal BSDF, like there's nothing going on here. So one thing I would recommend if you guys haven't done already to install Node Wrangler add-on. It's available in every Blender. You just have to activate it. Just go to add-ons, search for Node Wrangler and activate it. And that'll come in extremely handy. So right now we have a principal BSDF. Let's keep it white. We don't want any colors going on here because we'll do that with the RGB node first. So let's bring in RGB node. And then one thing about car paint is like where in the glancing angles, it's going to be dark. And only wherever it's facing the camera or the eyes, that's where you'll see the actual color. So to get that, let's bring in a Fresnel node. So this is what we have with the Fresnel. Let's bring in a color ramp, and I want to invert this. Yeah, it has to look something like this. Maybe not this much, a little bit. Yeah. And let's not keep it completely black. So what we're going to do is we will multiply the color that we choose with this color ramp. So let's keep. So if you see what's happening is like in the glancing angles, you're getting a darker color. So let's keep the factor 1. So this is ideally what we want to achieve. So we have that, and this is going to be a color node. So I'll plug that into the base color. So yeah, we have a pretty nice base color for what we want. So, and now let's work on the flakes first. For flakes, we'll be using a Voronoi texture. So let's bring in a Voronoi texture, and if you select the node and press Ctrl T, you will get all the mapping options. So I need object because I'm not going to use any UVs. So this is going to be completely object-based mapping. So let's use the Voronoi and switch to the color. Now let's work on the scale, maybe 200. So ideally, if you think about car paints, like these flakes will be extremely small, like in real world, but it's best not to make it that small. Ideally, I would exaggerate the size of this a little bit. So otherwise it won't pick up on the camera, right? Like it'll be a wasted detail. So it's not almost like it shouldn't be super unrealistic, but yeah, you should just find a balance between the exaggeration, right? Like, so that's how you do it. So yeah, now we have the texture. Let's add in a bump map. And let me look at, yeah, let's plug this to a normal and like this goes into the normal again. So there we have our flakes normal. It's super intense. Let's reduce that. Okay, rather than, I said normal, but I added a bump map node. So that's my bad. Now let's run it through a normal map node again. So yeah, now you have this should, okay, rather than, I said normal, but I added a bump map node. So that's my bad. Now let's run it through a normal map node again. So yeah, now you have this should ideally control the strength here. There you go. So again, the key is to keep things subtle, like it shouldn't be too much. So maybe 0.05. Yeah, let's leave it here now. We'll come back to this once we change it to it. Let's come back to this values like once we have the port applied. So right now this is good. Let's leave it here. Now Yeah. Now that we have our flakes ready, what we can do is let's get to the coating. So for the coat, we'll be using another Principal BSDF shader. Let's add a principal, like so we can duplicate the Principal BSDF shader, and then we'll add this using an add shader node. So obviously right now this looks wrong. This is not what we want. So we need this as a coating. So we'll add the coat and then make the tint as black. And now you'll get a nice coat on top of your paint layer. I'll make the paint metallic. So how I use the paint metalness is like I always keep it metallic. If I want it to look less metallic, I just push the roughness to the end. And then if I want it to be more metallic, I just bring the roughness to this end, which is I reduce the roughness. Ideally, like 0.4 looks great for a normal paint. So apart from there, you can tweak it according to your liking. So I'll leave it here for now. So let's get to the coating details. So for the coat, one thing what we need is like all the clear coats, if you look closely, that will have like small bumps. So let's add that first. I'll bring in a noise texture. Let me preview this. I need a mapping for this. Maybe 500. It's too small. 250. 300. Yeah, this should be good. Let's run this through bump map and then plug it into normal. Let's go into the shader. Oh my bad. So this has to go to height and then this has to go to normal. There you go. We have our bump working. So let's keep it again. This has to be a lot more subtle. And yeah, it works. Works very well. Even at a pretty distant camera angle, I'm able to see the bumps. So which is exactly what I want. So I'll leave it there. For the index of refraction, we'll keep it 1.8 so that we have a lot more reflection going on in our coat. So apart from this, what I'm gonna do is I'll add a grunge texture to this. So let me bring in an image texture. So I use this texture called Dirt Thin. This is something that's available in Substance Painter. So you can export it from it, and I use this a lot. So right now this is in flat projection. I need box projection, and I'll run it through object again. So yeah, we have our box projection going on. So this is exactly what I want. Maybe I'll decrease the scale a little bit, make it bigger. Yeah, this works. So now we'll run this through a color ramp so we have more control over the roughness map. And then I'll plug this into the roughness of the coat. I'm making this very clear. So this has to go into the roughness of the coat and not the roughness itself. So once you turn on coat, like it kind of makes this obsolete. So it's best to plug this in directly to the coat's roughness. So obviously now this looks like a very old car, right? Like we don't want this. We want our car to be new. So here I'll increase the contrast a little bit. And then this shouldn't be entirely black. And then the white can be a lot less. It's almost a dark gray. So now what will happen is like you'll pick up, okay, the bump is too much. I need to reduce the strength. 0.05. Something like that works. Now what we can do is like I can go ahead and increase the roughness a little bit more. Yep. I guess we can increase the base of the roughness even further. Something like this. Yeah. I really like this sort of result. So if you keep it completely shiny, it's obviously going to look fake when you add this to an environment. So, best to add, as much as roughness variation and or else like roughness variation, bump and all that to this. Like you have to add it as much as you can, but keep things, you still have to keep it subtle. It shouldn't be overpowering to the point, it almost looks like a again, it'll get past the realistic look and it'll go into a fake territory, which is not something we want. I think this turned out pretty amazing. I really like this result. So yeah, I'll pause here and I'll render out a few shots and I'll give you guys the outro. All right. I went ahead and rendered a few nice camera angles. So you can see that car paint turned out like really, really beautiful. For some reason, I don't prefer using cycles for automotive visualization, but still, I don't think it's just that, like, the way Octane calculates lighting, I feel like, it's better, but still, cycle is nowhere, like behind Octane in any way. It's more of a personal preference for me, but still, like, I think this looks really good. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you found it useful. And also, like, let me know. I know, like, I stumbled here and there while working with if I should use a bump or a normal map. Like, there was a little confusion there, and I could have prepared this before, but I feel like, you guys seeing those mistakes would actually be a little bit more helpful than if I made a flawless video. So that's why, like, I don't really prepare that much. I just like go ahead and like start creating things in the video. But let me know what you think. If you found this useful, if you find this format useful, and all that. Yeah, let's start conversations in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you're still watching, and have a good day. And bye bye.